Sometimes I don't know whether to say that we've grown up watching him, because we were all little when we were watching him. But the thing with Raghav is, I mean, if you look at the style, the hairstyle also is the same after all these years. And Raghav 2.0 is going on an India tour. Teri Baaton Mein has taken everything by storm. It's the move that's taken everyone by storm. Brother, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a while, but the thing is, it's almost like, there was just a dot pause for you. The fill in the blanks have sort of happened again.
Yeah.
You've come back into India, which is now, I think, the hotbed of independent music as well.
That's right, actually, yeah.
I'm going to ask you, you've seen India in the 2000s, 2010s, now in the mid-20s. Yeah. How do you see, is it really as rosy as it's made out to be?
Well, in one way, yes. I mean, right now we live in a world of streaming, and the truth of the matter is that in streaming, it's all about how many people are listening to particular records. The example I give is that if Arijit Singh woke up with Justin Bieber's numbers, he would have a very bad day. Yeah. And that's not a slight on Justin Bieber, who's one of the biggest, greatest, most successful artists in the world.
Yeah.
But that is the power of the Indian music scene.
Yeah.
And I've always said this, that when art becomes a meritocracy and it can be judged by how many people around the world are listening to something, then it's very easy to see the metrics of what's successful and what's not. So, for example, with this song, with the recreation of Teri Baaton, it was trending #1 in Canada and the USA and the UK as a Hindi song.
Wow.
And I'm not saying this about because it's my record.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the power of the South Asian, Indian, Asian, whatever you want to call it, diaspora around the world.
Were you prepared for this?
No, I don't. Well, a little bit. I'd say, when Desperado came out last year, let me go back even that. During COVID, all my old songs started trending online. And it was it was pretty amazing. Yeah. And the years before COVID were really tough. I was kind of lost as to how do I get my art out? In India, Bollywood was king, and there was really no pop scene at that time. And in the West, I was Raghav. I'm clearly a very Indian guy, even though I'm a Canadian. Yeah. And they thought I was too Indian to be fully Western and benefit from the budgets that come from major record labels there. So I was doing it independently, and it was just. Things happened, they moved, but it was really an uphill climb. And it was such a difference from where I was in 04 to 08.
Yeah.
And it all of a sudden didn't become about the music as much. So that was a really tough time. Then during COVID, my stuff started trending, and it was just like a seed got planted that this could be something amazing again. So I went back in the studio with Mushtaq, and we made Desperado. And Desperado, it's probably one of the biggest independent records in the world of 2023.
Wow.
And it was like, wow, we're back. People still love that sound. They crave what we do. And even before that, this Teri Baaton conversation had started. Yeah. I've been asked for many years now to recreate the song for film and always said no. But with this one, I just thought, the universe is pushing me into this comeback mode. Yeah. Let's just go with it. And I'm glad that.
Did you know the star cast at that time?
I knew that Shahid and Kriti were in the film, yeah. Right. I did know that. I did not know that the movie was going to be called Teri Baaton Mein. I didn't know that until I got the poster. So I was like, hello?
We didn't rework the contract.
Hello? Yeah, that's so. But to everybody's credit, we sorted that out pretty quickly. And it's a real honor. The big honor for me is that a lot of people don't know this, but my mom wrote the lyrics to Teri Baaton, the original composition.
Wow.
Because that was back in 03 before I knew anybody in the industry. So just writing songs at home, living at home. And now mom is turning 80 in May, and we lost dad a year and a half ago. So that's okay. Well, we'll get to that together. But it's pretty cool for me that mom and dad immigrated to Canada in the 60s. They must have felt like they were leaving their Indianness. They must have thought, our kids are going to be totally not Indian at all. And then through the music that I make that's steeped in my Indianness and mom's talents, she's able to see now at the age of 80 that she didn't lose any of that culture. And I think it means a lot to her. And it means
Is
a lot
she
to
shocked with having a hit at 80? Well, essentially it is.
Mom has been, we've together been shocked that the song just never died. Like even during COVID, people are like, oh, it's #1 on this chart, it's #1 on this chart. And we're like, we never even made a video for it 20 years ago. Like it just kind of...
Really?
Yeah, we made a video for Angel Eyes, but not Teri Baaton.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's just lived in people's hearts. It's like one of those things. There's no major record label. There's nothing. Now there's a big film behind the new creation. But
When you say this also, I think you're a far bigger star than the amount of music that you put out. Actually, sometimes people come out with songs every 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And I say this with a number of stars in the 90s as well.
Yeah.
So Baba Sehgal is one of those fun guys. He'll keep doing his stuff.
Yeah.
And he's fun. And in the Indian rap scene, let's put it that way. But there are a lot of artists that do a lot of music. You've not done that much music, but you still made a very big name for yourself.
Well, that's very kind of you to say in a way, but the truth is there's a lot of music that was released that just without a platform like a film or a label, they're hits for a short period of time and then people forget about them.
Right.
So actually I have 3 studio albums and we're probably...
No, but even in this 20 years, I mean, I know artists that have come out with 20 albums.
Okay, but I've not done that.
So
I grew up in the era of Michael Jackson, as did you.
Of course, yes.
So he would lock himself away in the studio and make a record every 5 years. You can't do that anymore, which is why, and that's a tough thing to change because for me, it felt like if I want to put my best music forward, I can't make a song every 2 months. It's not creative enough. So we've been in the studio now for years, and that's why we had Desperado. Then we had a song called Chingari with Divine. Then now we've had TERI BAATON, and I've put out a new
that was
song
really big with Divine as well, because Divine himself has become such a big, incredibly... I mean, he's a supernova.
He is, and the really cool thing there is that 20 years ago when Storyteller came out, Iceberg Slim is on there, Cardinal Official's on there, then Redman is on My Kind of Girl, then I did track with Nelly and Abhishek Bachchan. I couldn't have imagined at that time 20 years ago that I could have an Indian hip-hop star on my record, elevating the record. Like, that scene didn't exist then, and it was such a part of my childhood, hip-hop. So the idea that now I can make records that have hip-hop steeped in it, but they're Indian artists. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Actually, I was doing a little show on hip-hop and they were talking about Bohemia. And of course, a lot of music changed for India with 2 films. One was, of course, Apna Time Aayega, which was, what was that? Gully Boy.
Yeah, Gully Boy.
Of course, Gully Boy. And the other was Gairaiyan.
Okay.
Because Gairaiyan managed to bring kind of soul music with Oaf and Lotika that nobody thought would be mainstream. So, of course, that had Deepika in it, and the other one, of course, had Ranveer in it. But music in the last 4 years in India has become so different that film music is under threat. And a lot of films want to take big songs of artists like yours and then want to do that, and they're okay with that.
Yeah, it's certainly easier A&R work to do it that way. But it is, I don't know if it's under threat, but I'd say this, it's evening out the way it should be to a degree. And that is because the power now lies in the people.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how big the labels are or what they run or what they own. The truth of the matter is that the people now have the power to say, when I put out the song, everybody was like, congratulations, did you get paid? Did you get paid? Did you get paid?
I was just going to ask
you,
how does that work out?
No one would have ever asked me that 20 years ago. But it's like they know that the practices in our industry have not always been above board. Yes. And my fans, very touching for me, more than just being fans of the music, are like, did you get treated fairly?
Yes, correct.
And that kind of accountability is why pop is increasing. Because people are like, hey, wait a minute. We choose what we listen to. We choose how the artists that we care are treated. And I have no doubt that had some impact on the way that people treat artists now. They have to, because they know the fans want that for the artists they care about.
We're going to find out what Raghav, I can't even call it 2.0. Let's call it Raghav 2024. How is he dealing with the fact, he's still a remote artist. He's not going to be living in India. But is it as easy as it can be? Does it really, has COVID sort of implanted itself forever with the meetings and the recordings? Because a lot of people do that remote. Is that still doable? And with actually a lot of artists that want to make a bit of a comeback, is this the right place now to be? Or is the West still the place to be? Your hairstyle hasn't changed in 20 years, brother.
Oh, I get comments all the time. People say my hair needs to be bigger and like it was 20 years ago. And
it was bigger, but it's still the same.
I feel like saying everybody should send me their picture of, you're the only person that looks exactly the same from 20 years ago. He looks like Salil 2003
That's true,
as opposed to 2004. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, all the drugs are working, man. And the doctors are doing a good job.
It's not true. But
You're with me, and of course, I have the greatest respect for artists that you just know how to keep, it's very tough to stay committed to your craft over a period of time. Yes, of course, we were talking about the last 4 or 5 years has been good. Online has been working very well. Can you run a remote shop and still conquer a city or a country?
Well, I'm running something more important than that. I'm raising a daughter. So my thing is that this is music is not work. It's my entire passion.
Yes.
But for the first time in my life, it's 1B.
Yeah.
Because my daughter's 1A. So, when you put it in perspective like that, and if she's the North Star, then you always make it work. There's a lot more flying involved.
Yeah.
I've been like...
Would she ever want to move here?
I think, my situation's a little complicated.
Yeah, it'd be tough to do that, yeah.
So I think that there's probably not a chance of moving to India anytime soon. But the world is just such a small place now.
Yeah.
Fans react the same whether you're in Hyderabad or you're in Houston.
Yeah.
And, I'm committed to getting on a plane and doing what I have to do. And it does help that...
But how was this period of meeting everybody? Did it really work like a lovely calling card where everyone said, because I've seen that happen a lot.
Yeah.
Something really comes up and then just go sign. Suddenly there's a lot of Raghav in a lot of films.
Yeah.
But new music will be there. They don't necessarily have to buy your older music, which they might also given a proposition
definitely,
to.
Yeah.
So is there going to be a lot of you like now?
I hope so. I mean, you can't predict it. I mean, the one thing that I've said is that this time I've come back and I haven't come back to go away. So I'm going to keep putting out records. You don't know what's going to hit. I think I'd like to oscillate between English and Hindi. It's kind of who I am as a human being. You know? So there's going to be music every few months now, like you said earlier. And we'll see how far it takes us. But when COVID started, the first month of COVID, I thought we're all going to die.
Yeah.
It was like a very scary time.
Yes.
And I kind of sat there and thought, what would be the headline if something happened to me? And I said, the headline would probably read, Angel Eyes singer Raghav has died, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And now it would say, TERI BAATON singer. I thought, let me make a bunch of new music and the headline will change. And then it ended up being an even older song. But now when I put out a record, I just say, okay, what can I do every day in my life to help make that headline better?
Yeah.
Like look at it as that. Yeah. I've accomplished something and now I have a lot more to do. And I just, my 30s were tough and I learned a lot from them. I've come out of them a better person, a happier person. I was frustrated. I felt maybe treated unfairly by the music industry. And I whined about it for a bit. But
this is a sweet homecoming.
Yeah, it is, and I just hope that people keep me in their heart. Like the thing that COVID taught me is that even though sometimes it didn't feel like I had a way of getting my music amplified to the world that I thought was great music, I still had a place in people's hearts, and that's good enough for me. So as long as I have that, I'll keep putting out something, and something will crack through.
Nice. A lot of it is cracking through. How was the tour? I mean, when you one-on-one with Indian audiences how long?
So yeah, that's a really crazy thing is I hadn't performed in India since it's been a long time, like 7, 8, 9 years.
Wow.
Like a long time where I hadn't done a tour. So it's been emotional, really. Like people are coming up to me telling me what Storyteller meant to them. Yeah. And some of them were like 25-year-olds. And I'm like, how do you remember Storyteller? You don't even know what a cassette is. Or, and they were just like, we discovered it. The Quick Style did a video last year to Let's Work It Out. Yeah. Had like 50 million views. And when I read the comments, like half of them were like, oh, Raghav, and it's so good, and this is nostalgia. And the other half were like, oh, this is a cool song. When is it coming out? I was like, I was 19 years ago.
Wow.
So that's nice, though, because it means that it still feels fresh to an audience that never heard it.
Wow.
And that's the goal, to make music that can be timeless to some extent.
And I think it's also crazy. Now the digital world doesn't go away. You can't just put something in there and say it's gone. I mean, now a lot of music is rediscovered. I mean, we've seen it so often. In India, it all started with Lamborghini. It was on TikTok. This song had been forgotten for 4 years and suddenly it comes out, it became so viral. Now this big word viral that is out.
Yeah.
In India, we had Kolaveri D, which was our first viral track. Yeah. Gangnam Style continues to be viral, and that one song of his life, he still does world tours.
Yeah.
Is it a lot of pressure in your head? Does a singer, will a singer now think, I've got to hit a song, but it can't just be for me and I've got to make it go viral? I know a lot of people that say, I'm making it for 15 seconds.
Well, no, I don't do that.
Would you ever let pressure get to you now?
Well, I mean, you always feel pressure as an artist. You feel pressure as a human being. You know, life is not easy. But no, you don't make records for 15 seconds, because if you do that, look how much music's changed over time.
Yeah.
When let's pick any record from the 50s, Unchained Melody came out. It's 5 minutes long. So
all of Michael Jackson's tracks were 8-9 minutes.
Well, they're 3-4 minutes at least. But the thing is that formats will change. If today it's reels, tomorrow it'll be something else. Every time the format changes, the music gets a new birth.
Yeah.
So you create the music as a composition. However that amplifies itself, whether today it's 15-second reels or tomorrow it's 20-minute AI videos, your music should be able to withstand the change in the technology by just being great music. If you make music specifically for what's happening in the moment, it will only live in the moment.
But can you get passed by the moment? If you don't make, I mean, it's sometimes tough to sort of cater to every single audience.
You've got to, audience.
Do you have so much faith in your own ability now? Do you think every artist is able to do that? Or are you also meeting artists that are very insecure right now because of the short span of time?
I have faith in my ability, because when that wavered in my life, my fans told me that they wanted what I do best. So now it's in my mind that I should only do what is authentically me and what I do best. I mean, let's face it, I'm not Brad Pitt here. I'm not going to be out there. We're not selling sex over here. We're selling just music that people love. Yeah. And so that's what I'm going to make.
He's as modest as can be. Everyone still loves cute, lovely, and all love the way Raghav. Raghav was also about the package. You were about a package that sold really well. And that was always there as well. Even your music videos and all that. You will have to keep that up as well.
That sounds exhausting. Yeah. I think we're going to start putting actors in videos. You know when the ghazals came out in like the 2000s and there were actors in videos? Yeah, that's next for me.
Okay, I cannot let you go. We got you down from Canada, and of course I normally don't always end up doing this. But a couple of lines from Angel Eyes and even Teri Baaton would be awesome, man.
Oh, teri aankhon mein, इकरार की बातों में, भीगी भीगी रातों में, मुझको है खो जाना तेरी बातों में, ऐसा उलझा जिया, बैठे ही बैठे मैंने दिल खो दिया. Oh, sound guy was loving. I was trying not to laugh. Sound guy's like, yo.
I love the way. How do you speak Hindi otherwise?
I speak okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
कैसे बोलता हूँ? थोड़ा सा तो सुने.
बोल सकता हूँ.
बहुत बढ़िया है.
हाँ, मैं बोल सकता हूँ.
और आपको
मैं नहीं चाहता कि मैं बोलूँ.
नहीं, कितने सालों के बाद आप ऐसे माहौल में बैठे जहाँ हिंदी बात कर सकते हैं?
हाँ, बहुत सालों बाद.
बहुत सालों के बाद.
Yeah. It's like my French. I only speak it when I go to Paris.
Raghav, you're a vibe, man. I think it really works. And I'll tell you something about this man. No matter how big he is, we've somehow stayed in touch always on social media. Sometimes Twitter, sometimes Instagram. That's how we connected as well on this. And I really genuinely think that there's this great respect that I have for artists. And over a period of time, and I think when you stay long enough in an industry, which is, of course, Mumbai, and, I'm like a little escalator. People get on and then they get off, and they get on and they get off. But, he's always been so respectful, and I really, really appreciate you taking out the time.
Well, we're friends.
Yeah.
Like, I remember... Yeah. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to leave you hanging.
Beautiful, man.
I remember when we first met would have been... I think it was in central London. Something at like the Washington Hotel there. And then you were in London often.
That was beautiful, man. I so love the Edgware Road Shamor bus.
Yes. Well, come back. Bring the family there. Have you brought the family to London yet?
No, because my daughter will take a parachute off a 9-hour flight. 2.5 hours.
Oh, right.
We're slowly taking 15 minutes at a time.
Okay.
Yeah. As you know, since you're not shifting across also, daughter's number one priority, my son and daughter number one priority.
Yeah.
And it's tough to get them 2 hours in a car.
Son can do the flight.
2.5 hours.
Okay.
We're on 2.5 hours.
We did, my daughter and I, we've done Europe's from Canada, which is 8 hours, but it's overnight.
Yeah.
So I completely understand that. But no, you got to come back to London. They were really, like, I think of, and I should say this on air, I think of you fondly because you've always not just been supportive, but just cool and a friend, and we have mutual friends.
Well, that's fantastic, man.
And it's great. So come back to London.
Yes, and I hope that, I see so much more of him. Like he said, there was a rediscovery phase that has started, I think, for our entire industry. And I think that the balance of power, which is very skewed in one side, is sort of leveled out. Now it's a level playing field, like the way it should be, where the audience has the power. And they have the power to decipher what good music is and what they think is good music, and not what just labels think. I think that's very, very important. I'll see you guys soon on Star Stop. Take care. Bye-bye.